there, and welcome to the Blether with me, Gary.
And me, William, and thanks very much for joining us once again on this special Blether.
And thanks also for your kind comments on last month's Blether with Sue and Fiona, this year's directors of the RSCDS Summer School in St Andrews. And we hope everybody's attending this year's summer school is having a fantastic time.
Yeah, it sounds like it. That's absolutely terrific. Yeah, all the best to everybody over the 4 weeks at St Andrews. And we've got a special guest with us today, who's swinging around there beautifully on his very plush chair. And on the blether, somebody we worked closely with during the celebrations for our centenary, both for the Society and the Glasgow branch. But he's also involved in many other aspects of the Society's work too.
Yes, and it's a very, very warm welcome to Sebastian Wanless.
Well, thank you for having me.
No, not at all, Sebastian. Now, before we start, first things first, you have got your mug of tea with you for a wee blether, yeah?
I do. I haven't got Blether written on it, but
You're not getting one either. No, they're far too expensive. We can't dish them out like sweeties. No, no. And the other thing is, we've kind of well, I've tried to smarten myself up for this one, Gary. I don't know about you, but
Well,
we're working with the most dapper man in the Scottish country dancing world that I know.
yeah, but absolutely. And I think you as the chair tried to get him as the official chair's fashion uh, guru, didn't
I
you?
did.
Unfortunately, it looks like it never took off. But well,
you
there we
know,
go.
you've got to dress to impress. That's what I always say.
Thanks very much. We'll do our best.
I'm,
You know,
I'm happy to give advice anytime, free.
thanks very much, Sebastian. Yeah, yeah. I put a wee pink number on. What do you think of this today? All right.
No, it's no bad.
Thank you very much. Thank
I
you.
think,
And
William, you should maybe get him on speed dial.
yeah, that would be good. Yeah. And by the way, I hope you like my tan. I'm looking not too bad. Sebastian's got a very fine tan. You're looking Guy Peely-Wally, Mr. Coull, if you don't mind me saying so. Peely-Wally, there's another one for our friends overseas to work out.
Yeah,
Well,
try explaining that one.
this
Yes.
tan is the real tan. It's no fake tan. I got it in Turkey. It's
Ah,
it's a real, it's no fake. And that's
ah,
more than I can say for the Gucci shoes that I bought in Antalya Grand Bazaar. But anyway,
the Gucci shoes. That's expensive shoes, Gary, in case you're
Right, okay. Thanks for that. I did wonder if they were maybe like Next Plus or something like that,
no, no,
but
no, 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 no. But I mean, when you're used to getting your shoes in Matalan like you are, it's just another world really that Sebastian's in. But anyway, let's
absolutely.
move on, Sebastian. It's great to see you.
thank
Absolutely
you.
terrific. And at the moment, of course, I've just got back from 6 weeks in Australia and New Zealand, seeing all the members there. Absolutely fantastic to see them all. Great work going on. All trying new initiatives everywhere I went, and it's paying off. And thanks to them all these folk. They always seem so far away, but hopefully after the visit, they feel a lot closer to us and feel part of the RSCDS, which they absolutely are. So. And then Gary, you've been over at seeing my old friends over at Blue Ridge. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we'll appreciate the old, but yes, I was over there. I had a fantastic week. Oh, just wonderful. Great music, great company, great dancing. It was just just one of these weeks that you really, really enjoy. And a beautiful place as well.
And, yeah, absolutely. It's Boone is a lovely wee place. It's Daniel Boone country, of course, the wild men of the hills. So you would fit in beautifully and absolutely fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, on with the show today. And Sebastian, Glasgow centenary. Let's look back to that. You must have been pretty proud to have been the centenary chair. I mean, I was the centenary chair for the society, but actually, in many ways, being the centenary chair for Glasgow branch last year must have been very special because, after all, in a way, it is the mother branch. How did you feel about that?
William, I really enjoyed that year. So I had 3 years as chair, and I sort of divided it into 3 years. So the first year was post-COVID. It was difficult. We had to start everything up again. And we did have a reduction in activity, but you know, we saw through that. We set up our social marketing campaign, and the second year we made a lot of changes. Got through the year actually, instead of making a loss, made a slight profit, set ourselves up. And the centenary year, by that time I was really enjoying myself, and I thought the centenary celebrations went really well. It was inspiring. I felt very inspiring.
We were lucky enough to come to one of the events, or certainly I was at one. I don't know if you were a bit more, William, but maybe Sebastian, what were some of the events that the branch put on for the centenary to celebrate?
So we had some public demonstrations at the Bearsden and Malgai Highland Games. We did another one at Kelvin Grove Museum in association with the 5,000th organ recital at the museum. And then, you know, we had our own centenary book with 13 dances, newly devised dances that we launched. That was a tremendous success, actually. And then, of course, we built up to the unveiling of the plaque for the society, which was, I think, a grand event. I did spend quite a lot of time helping to set that up. In fact, I don't know how many times I went to the Hard Rock Cafe, but it was many times, and I loitered frequently in Buchanan Street. It's surprising that the police didn't pick me up, actually. But anyway, all of that was in order to make sure that, first of all, we had to make an elevation, an architectural elevation of the front, and I'm very grateful to my wife who did that.
Yeah.
And then on the day, I thought it went splendidly, and you and William made a fantastic speeches, and we had guests from the Scottish government, of course. And then we had that flash mob dancing in Buchanan Street. What was that like? It was fantastic. Yeah.
I think that was a special moment for me, actually. Despite all the formal stuff we had, the balls, that crowd out in Buchanan Street with just, you know, the branch people, but Glaswegians and anybody who was going by stopping and listening, and then suddenly bursting in to the Gay Gordons with Martin Skeen and the accordion. And, you know, that was the essence of Scottish country dancing. It was there, it was with the people, it was with everybody and anybody. And Glasgow has to be the best place for that. Don't matter who you are, we're all Jock Tamson's bairns. Get on the floor and dance, everybody. And I was quite emotional actually when we were doing that, and there was a lot. I could see a lot of emotion in the Glasgow members' faces when that happened. And yeah, thanks to you and your good lady wife for the plaque. Not a lot of people will know that, but your wife is an architect or a designer, and she played a huge part in getting all that through the different hurdles with Glasgow City Council. But Glasgow City Council too, and the Lord Provost were absolutely fantastic to work with, and thanks to all of them too. Yeah, it was great, Gary, and the ball and everything, and hanging about Buchanan Street, as you say, is well.
I have to say it's luckily that the police didn't capture you, Sebastian, because I don't think the RSCS can afford the bail
No,
for you.
please.
But we would have tried. We would have tried.
Well, of course, we also had the centenary ball, the Glasgow centenary ball, in the city chambers, and I just looked at a video recording of the last dance the other day, and at the end of the dance, when everyone's just finished, there's this great cheer goes up from all the people that have been dancing. It was a splendid night, I thought. I really enjoyed it.
It was a very special venue for such an occasion as well.
Yeah.
And Gary and I were there. I hope we didn't let you down, Sebastian. I hope our behaviour was okay, and I hope our dress. I hope we came up to expectations for you, because you do set a very high bar when it comes to that sort of thing.
Well, as you know, I'm always happy to give you advice, William.
I am panicking now that you said there's video evidence of the last dance.
Yes, I can think what that's like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe,
Sebastian, how did you get into Scottish country dancing?
So, my wife and I had been abroad for 31 years, actually, with my work. And we had done various kinds of dancing, but not that. However, when we came back to Scotland, my wife, Tamara, she said, I really want to do Scottish country dancing. And so we went along, started a beginner's class with Carol Ann Knox, the brilliant teacher of beginners. And we never looked back, really. We just liked it so much that we progressed from the beginners and moved on. And I even managed to get to an advanced class now.
Great.
Not the very advanced, that's high impact. That's a wee bit much for me, but.
And how long ago was that? It's not that long ago, is it?
No, we started in 2013.
You go.
Yeah.
You go.
But
Yeah.
it's
And the great thing is you were chair of Glasgow branch for 3 years during the centenary and did a fantastic job. I have to say, I'm not going to just say that to you, but you get, when you travel around like I've been doing and Gary's been doing, you kind of get aware of the atmosphere for a branch, not very long after you turn up. And it all comes down to the leader, it all comes down to the chair, and you had everybody in Glasgow on your side, working well together as a team, and that came over to me loud and clear, and that takes a very special talent to be able to. So thanks for that, Sebastian, because it's centenary year. It was so important for Glasgow and for the society that everything went well, and a lot of that was thanks to you. Talking about your work, the health strategy that the society is developing, which I'm glad to see because we started it before COVID and then of course everything stopped. But Gary, you're chairing this, so we've got this health strategy group, which is really quite exciting. And Sebastian, through your work, you could maybe just give us a wee bit of background to your work, and then we can move on to the health strategy and how that's working.
okay. Well, I am a physician. I was trained in Edinburgh, middle of last century sometime, and I worked for a while in the National Health Service, and then I was involved in clinical research. As my son, when he was very young, once when he was asked what his dad did, he said, "Well, he used to be a doctor, but now he just works for money," which wasn't quite right. But anyway, so I did clinical research for about 17 years in many places around the world, actually. And then I had a change of career, and I moved over to work on HIV charities in Africa. And so I did that for working in Africa and Romania for about 10 years. And then since then, I've been working for these charities in one way or another. So I've got sort of global experience of health. And I was really quite keen on the idea of the society having a health strategy campaign to really put across to everyone that there are both physical and indeed maybe even more important mental benefits from Scottish country dancing, and that's what we've been trying to put across, isn't it, Gary?
Yeah, and I think before COVID, I think I'm right in saying that yourself and a few other health professionals kind of came together and developed that strategy. Is that right?
Yes, we did, Gary, but of course, because of COVID, it was impossible to continue. And I'm really glad that the society has taken it up, because honestly, it's not something I think an individual branch can really do. And I'm really pleased that there's the support from the society to move this forward. I think it needs the society's input and support. Yeah.
You're chairing the group, Gary. So both of you, what stage are we at? Where are we with the health, and who's on it, and what's happening?
Yeah, we're really lucky actually. We've purposefully got people on the group who have a health background or a health profession background. So there's Sebastian, there's Sandy Nixon, the dance band leader, who was a GP, and also Linda Williamson, who we may know, but she's got a background in the NHS as well. And then there's me, who is no health background whatsoever, but from my political background, there is a bit of kind of public affairs kind of knowledge, if you can call it that.
What are your specialities, just as we past that. I mean, what? And
Sourcing Blether mugs.
yeah.
That's it. That's about the stretch of it. Yeah. Now, so we've looked at the strategy again. Sebastian's helpfully updated the strategy, and we're working on quite a few different initiatives initially in Scotland. But the idea is that we develop some actions out of the strategy and we share them with other branches throughout the world, because each country has its own health system and own way of working. And I don't think it's for the RSCDS to say to branches, this is what you must do. But I think it's more about that sharing of good practice, sharing of information, and saying, here's what some areas are doing, take it, mold it into whatever suits your country, and let's run with it. But Sebastian, you've got some really exciting work happening in the East End of Glasgow through the health strategy and using the health strategy to get in there.
Yes, indeed. So we were fortunate enough to be introduced to the Scottish Social Prescribing Network, and we attended a meeting of them, and by sheer coincidence, but very, very fortuitously, Irene Cree from Glasgow Life was on the call, and she had made a presentation about what Glasgow Life is doing in the East End of Glasgow to try to get people who are in need of physical activity, or also who are socially isolated, getting them in to do activities. And so basically we asked for a meeting with her, and the upshot of all of that is that in collaboration with Glasgow Life, who are really good to work with, I have to say, I'm quite astounded by them. Anyway, in collaboration with them, we are setting up a class that will start with 2 taster events at the end of August and the beginning of September. They're in the East End. Glasgow Life is going to be heavily involved in promoting this, and they'll be doing that by involving the local community. So there'll be an outreach, a real outreach effort to involve the local communities. And then we have the prescribing network. So another group in particular, Alliance Scotland, who work with the GP practices in that part of the East End, they have link workers that will deliberately refer patients, clients, let's call them clients, clients who would benefit from an activity. And I think it's particularly people who are maybe socially isolated, which is common in that area. It's a relatively deprived area, so people are not really they're not really getting the kind of support that they would get elsewhere. And that, can you think of anything better than Scottish country dancing for someone who's socially isolated, even if that's, so they don't even have to have a partner. They can come along themselves. By the way, the link worker will bring them along. So, just in case they're feeling a bit maybe intimidated about the idea, they'll bring them along. And as I say, they don't need a partner, so they can just take part in it. And we'll set up those taster events to be as fun and enjoyable with upbeat music as well, to make sure that it's a good event. So that's what we're planning.
It's absolutely fabulous, and this is Scottish country dancing. As I say, the essence of Scottish country dancing is the people's dancing, from the cottars in their cottages to the big hoose. Everybody in Scotland danced. It's that old Scottish saying, we're all Jock Tamson's bairns. We don't care who you are. I was talking in Australia about this a lot. The fact that the dance floor is a great leveler. Or, you've got absolutely no idea who you're dancing with, what they do, what they are, how much money they've got, or anything. This is an amazing initiative, and again, you're leading the charge on this, Sebastian, and it's absolutely terrific that we're going to be in the East End of Glasgow, getting people along who, let's face it, and I think throughout the world you meet this, and there are people who financially are struggling as well at the moment, and the Royal Scottish Country Dance Society needs to be in amongst these folks, saying, come on, we've got something you can do, get on the floor and join us and be part of this bigger organisation. And the other message that comes out of it is we're learning to reach out now. As a society, we're looking outwards. I think that again, as traveling around, I think that's been a problem, that we've been cozy. We've just looked after ourselves, our branches, our groups. We've not been very good at shouting it from the rooftops that we're here. Come and join us. This is a great thing to do. So this is terrific. Really, really good. It's quite exciting, Gary, isn't it?
It's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing the results of it. And I think one of the good things as well is that it shows how the RSCDS can work. So the RSCDS kind of at the kind of board level, if you like, through the health strategy working group, has made these connections. But it's Glasgow branch that are driving the work on the ground. So Sebastian, I think you're chairing a small subcommittee that's looking after this.
Yeah.
And really it's Glasgow branch that are running it on the ground. So although the RSCDS have made the connections, it is the branch that's really driving it, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm very hopeful that Marston Skeen is going to be the musician for the class. He lives in Dennistoun himself in the East End, and he's very, very keen on the idea. So
It's great.
Fantastic.
And the branch are helping fund some of this as well, so that it can be free for the participants to come along.
well, and again, great thanks to Glasgow Life, because they are providing extensive funding as well, and the local community are, because Barlanach Community Centre, where it will take place, they are providing this free of charge.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, in this day and age, it's all about, you know, you went and knocked on the doors. You went and knocked on Glasgow Life's doors. In fact, I was there the day you did that because Linda went with you, and I can remember how excited the pair of you were when you came out, that you'd met this sort of government organisation, if you like, or local government organisation, who were so forward-looking about, you know, we've got all, and I think it's right to say that a lot of the accommodation is the former Commonwealth Games Park, with some of the halls and some of the accommodation in the East End. Am I right to say that? And they're keen for it to be used, and they're just so enthusiastic and so helpful. It's fantastic. But it's about going and knocking on. It's about us. It's about the RSCDS at the local level, going knocking on the door, or as I might say in Glasgow, chapping on the door and saying, can we be of any help to you guys? How can we link up? How can we, you know, rather than just us working away in our wee isolation as a wee Scottish country dance group, it's Scottish country dancing's bigger than that. It's about everybody dancing, and we're starting to spread the word. And, you know, when we met with Angus Robertson, the Scottish Government Culture Secretary, Gary, I came away from that, and Angus didn't really know much. It's not his fault. Didn't know much about it. Didn't really know that we had branches all over the world. And when I came out of that meeting, I said to Gary and John Berry, just said, do you know, that's our fault that he didn't know about that. It's not his fault. It's our fault. We've been too quiet too long. So my message is to the branches, to everybody worldwide, get out there in your communities and tell them you're there. I know it's hard work. I know it's hard work. Sometimes it's frustrating. But if you get one new member out of it, when I was in Adelaide, I arrived that day, and it was Tartan Day in Adelaide. Who was running the big ceilidh in Adelaide that day for the Tartan Day but the Royal Scottish Country Dance Society Adelaide branch? I was so proud of them, and there were all the Scottish country dancers with all these young folk in the Irish club with a ceilidh band who normally play Irish tunes, and that was for me really quite amusing, because we danced most of the dances to Irish tunes, Irish jigs and reels, and you know, good old Irish sing-along waltzes and stuff. That was terrific. It was absolutely great. But it's about us being there as the Royal Scottish Country Dance Society, but putting our arms around everybody and reaching out. Terrific. And that's what you're doing in Glasgow, which is amazing.
And speaking about reaching out, Sebastian, one of the things that you and the Glasgow branch have pioneered, I suppose, is, and you touched on it a little bit earlier, is the social marketing campaign. Glasgow branch has had real success with. Can you tell us a bit more about the social marketing campaign that you did?
Right. So we, I don't remember the exact date, but maybe about 2 years before COVID, we were looking at our class participation, worrying that maybe it wasn't as good as it should be. wanting to make sure that we kept our membership numbers up. And so we decided we wanted to do some kind of marketing. And the reason we went with this social marketing is partly because of me, really. So when I said I worked for charities in Africa. They were HIV charities, and social marketing was a big part of encouraging people to come forward to be tested for HIV, because that was the big push that we had to do, get them tested, and then we could get them on treatment. And social marketing is a way of showing people how they can improve their life or how they can change their behavior in a way which will benefit them. So we approached a company in Glasgow called Social Marketing Gateway. We were very lucky with them, I have to say. They're very good to work with. They are relentlessly positive. So it's a good feature. And they helped us put together this campaign. Actually, we did some research through a Facebook survey first in order to make sure that we knew what the target audience was. And then this company helped us put together a series of, I think, pretty eye-catching adverts, which were put out on Facebook. And then people could click on them and they would be taken over to a description of what we were offering and another link to Eventbrite. And then we had set up a series of taster events to which they could come. And so the good, well, I don't know whether it's good or not, but the reason that it happened to fall at the right time was we launched it after COVID. So it was a good time, and it really helped us to make sure that although we were losing older people who didn't come back after COVID, and this helped us to to bring in new people who, interestingly enough, a lot of them were younger, and a lot of them were in that age group that we lack, this 30 to 50-year age group. And we seem to latch onto them through the Facebook adverts. Social Marketing Gateway know how to do that targeting, which has really helped us. So the first campaign was then. We did another campaign earlier this year. I don't think it was quite so successful, but I think that might have been the timing of it, maybe. Anyway, we don't have the full data yet from that. But the first one really was a big success and resulted in a lot of new members. Not all members, but a lot of participants, and indeed quite a lot of new members as well.
That's a huge thing to do, and again, thanks to you for driving it forward. Sebastian, if other branches and things want to know about this kind of thing, I mean, would it work for every branch? Would it work for, I mean, Gary and I are involved with, smaller branches out in the rural areas. Would it work there, or would it have to be a different approach, do you think?
So I think that's a really good question, William. So as you know, the society is now planning a pilot phase with a number of different branches. They're mostly larger cities, I have to admit, although maybe Dundee's not that big, is it?
It's big enough.
Big enough, right? According to,
Better be careful because we're walking there, remember?
So we are. I think
they'll fling you off.
Sorry?
They'll fling you off the bridge if you give them any. Yeah.
Anyway, so I think that, we'll get a lot of information from that, William, that will help us to decide. I have to admit, I think it's more difficult for a small branch. I think, because, you won't have that larger target audience that you can get to. So I think that's more difficult.
I think it's possibly more about what the product is to attract them in as well, though, isn't it? Because
yeah,
certainly in rural areas, there's less of, because we've got less numbers, we're not able to have the beginners class, the intermediate class, the advanced class, the very advanced class. Whereas in the cities, there are those kind of levels, if you like, that you can attract newer dancers into a beginner's class. But it's maybe about branches thinking differently. And if there is the opportunity for a social marketing campaign to have that offering for new participants at that particular time.
yeah.
I think I think this is crucial. I think, again, it's something that maybe we've not been the best at, and that's making sure that all of these messages actually reach the front line. And the front line actually is the teacher who's standing in front of that class night. They have to be aware of maybe somebody will come through the health strategy group. The health strategy could end up with, GPs helping to, prescribe Scottish country dancing. But unless the teachers and everybody in the branches are aware that somebody could come walking through the door one night and say, hello, I've been prescribed this by my GP, what they can't face is, well, have you danced before? Well, have you got dancing shoes? Well, if you haven't, you better just sit and watch then. That's just a disaster. So we've got to make sure this message gets right through everybody in our society, right to that front line, because it's that front line, it's that teacher in front of the class. I always say this, it doesn't matter whether it's a country dance class, choir master, coach for tennis, whatever. You're the person who's going to decide whether these folk have a good night out or not. It's that leisure and recreation bit as well as education. And everything we do needs to filter to that teacher standing in front of the class, whether they be in a small rural class or a big city class. And as long as we keep these channels of communication, so the branches and their teachers and musicians as well know, there's no point in us doing this, at Coates Crescent and making up all these wonderful things if that message doesn't get to the front line. I think that's so important.
So, William, as the social marketing gateway guys, Matt and Callum, their names are, as they repeatedly tell everyone, we can do the advert, we can target, we can put the adverts out there, but you have to have the right offering. You have so that when your new participants come in, they are blown away by it, basically, and they'll come back the next week. So the offering is as important as the actual campaign. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if branches want to find out about this, I mean, I was thinking there about the bigger branches, Gary, and you and I talking about our wee branches round about us in our rural areas. It's maybe something that could be a more of an umbrella. So, 3 or 4 of the smaller branches could get together over this. Some of them are only 5 or 10 miles from each other and work out together. And maybe together they could say, well, let's have a joint beginners class in a central point for a few months, and I'm keen on branches working together. It's lovely. During the centenary, I attended so many balls where 3 or 4 branches had got together. We were in Oban, Sebastian, remember it, the one where the 4 branches down the west coast of Scotland got together. What a great atmosphere, and what a lovely thing to see committees and things working together to just improve our lot completely. It was so good. So maybe this is something that, rather than we branches thinking, well, we couldn't do that because we've only got 4 or 5 of us to deal with this, that it could be an umbrella thing and some of the rural branches getting together over it. Gary, do you think that would work?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it'll be really exciting to see the results of the pilot project that's going on with the 5 or 6 branches. That'll be happening pretty shortly, I think, isn't it, Sebastian? So it'll be nice to hear the results of that.
Well, William, to pick up on what you're saying, actually, the social marketing people, they also know a lot about geographic targeting. So they could probably work that out, just make sure that, as you say, if there were 3 relatively close branches that could work together, they know how to do the geography of it as well.
So hopefully this will all become clear in the months ahead, once we get the pilot done and start to get, so look out for all that information on, on Dance Scottish Together, the magazine possibly, and here on the Blether. We'll try and keep you updated on that. But, if anybody wants to contact you, Sebastian, they could do that if you're happy with that through, rscds.org. It would be info@rscds.org and get the office to pass on questions to you if you're happy to answer some on behalf of some of the branches.
Absolutely, sure, no problem.
That's great. What about?
No, sorry, on you go, William.
Carry on. I mean, heavens above. It's I stand aside to go on.
Do your place. Yes, that's good. I was just going to say, Sebastian, have you got your walking shoes ready for the 11th of August?
Yes, I have the outfit. It's
I have to say, you'll probably be the best dressed kilt walker
No, but
from St Andrews to Dundee. I'm sure of that.
I
We're,
have,
you and the kilt walk, Gary, if he's walking with us, you
Yeah.
and I look like a couple of folk on the retreat from Culloden, I would imagine, in comparison to yeah,
it's I've got really good boots. They're really good. You'll like them. Yeah.
Now, in the
Gucci.
nicest possible way, Sebastian,
Mm.
you're going to probably walk twice as far as us anyway, because you're
Twice
no
as
the
fast, you
tallest, you're the tallest fella in the world, so your wee legs will be going twice as fast as Gary, and we want you. Yeah.
Probably, but as I often tell people, in nature, everything grows until it reaches perfection, and some of us just get there quicker than others.
Ah, well, you'll still be growing then, Gary, are you?
I'm still growing. Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, no,
But
the
it's
kilt
great
walk.
it's great you're joining us, Sebastian. It's fantastic that you've joined Team RSCDS for the kilt walk, and I think there's still time for folk to sign up
Absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely, yeah. If you want to sign up very quickly and join us, walking from St Andrews to Dundee, all the way and over the bridge. And how many miles is it?
21.
21 miles.
Have you done any training yet, William?
I walked round Ayers Rock in the middle of Australia. Thanks very much.
Well, there you go. I've got a rock just outside in the garden here. I've walked round it twice.
Wandering it through. But no, that's really exciting. And again, hopefully it's going to raise the profile a bit of the RSCDS with us clowns wandering about with RSCDS written on us and stuff like that. But that'll be great. Looking forward to
Yeah.
that. It's the Sunday that summer school finishes. So if you're in St Andrews for summer school, why not finish it with a 21-mile walk after a week of Scottish country dancing? It can only be good for you.
But also,
And
if folk don't feel like walking the 21 miles, there is a smaller walk as well. I think it's about 5 or 6 miles. But also, it'd be great to see folk on the route.
cheering us.
If you're able to get there and find somewhere along the route and
Bring your
help us
RSC.
along.
Yeah.
Help us
Yeah.
along.
Bring your RSCDS banners and flags and stuff. Just make nuisances of themselves. That's
Maybe
it.
the RSCDS gin, they could take it as well.
Aye, aye. But no, it'd be great to have some folk to walk with us, even part of the way. That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be absolutely great. And I'm delighted to say that people are being very generous with their sponsorship already. Because at the end of the day, we are a charity too. And I think some of the things we've talked about with you, Sebastian, bring that absolutely to the fore. The health strategy, the social marketing, the working in the East End. That's part of what the RSCDS is and should be about. It's trying to get everybody dancing again, not just in Scotland, but across the world, because it's the one form of dance which is inclusive. And I saw it in Adelaide at that Ceilidh. Totally inclusive, all kinds of folk there. But there's something about Scotland, there's something about Scottish music, there's something about Scottish dance, which just resonates that, come on, come and join us. We really look forward to you. And, the friendship and the fun is the essence of it. And hopefully that will come. And supporting the charity but through the Kilt Walk is terrific. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking about my garden,
Oh,
just to let the listener know, my gazebo is up.
oh,
It's very exciting. It took about 7 of us a whole day, but it is up. And that's a good thing. You could have an 8 reel under it,
oh,
so it's quite square and big. But yes, so that was the excitement this summer.
have you had any high winds yet?
Not since this morning, no. Well, outside with the gazebo. No, it's still standing. Yes,
That's great. Yeah,
yes,
and you've got nice posh furniture in it as well, I see. Because I was
yeah.
enough treated to a picture of this thing. So
Yep. The end of the season sale from Home Base last year.
of course,
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No
Why not?
Gucci sofa here, but
No Gucci sofa. No.
They were
So
big.
So, Sebastian, listen, that's been so good today. Just all these initiatives, and it's probably quite mind-boggling for members to hear all of this stuff. But what the Blether is all about is making sure all our members throughout the world know what's going on and what's planning and what's happening. So this is very exciting, and we'll try and keep everybody updated. But a massive thanks to you again for what you did during the Glasgow centenary and the society centenary to make that go so well. And all this health stuff and social marketing is fantastic. You've stepped down now as the Glasgow chair. You handed over to Ian Johnson just earlier this year. But I hope you're not going to go away. I hope, you're not just going to disappear. You're going to carry on with some of this stuff.
Yes.
And we really look forward to working with you on this stuff because it's great, don't we, Gary? It's amazing.
No, it's all very, very exciting stuff. And great to have
I must say, the centenary year, we really felt the support of the society in Glasgow branch as well. So thanks very much for that. You were a great support.
Oh, no, not at all. No, absolutely great. So I think that's us for the Blether for another month. And Sebastian, thanks to you, and say hello to your good lady wife as well, because I know she's a great support of you and everything you do, which is terrific. And I'll be writing to you shortly about my winter wardrobe, what I should be going out and looking for. Gary, you'll be getting this again, end of season sale. You'll be getting next year's summer wardrobe.
Next year's summer wardrobe.
On the
Right now, yes, yeah. William, I wouldn't hold off from that phone call. You should maybe just crack on with it.
I would like to see the outfits for the kilt walk before we go, if you don't mind.
Oh, right. Okay. We'll see what we can do. Right. Gary, we'll need to get our heads together and work on that one and see what we can come up with.
Pink tutus? No.
Mini kilts?
Mini kilts?
That'd be quite nice.
Yeah.
Well, I've just about got the legs for it, but Gary, I mean, please.
Have you though? No.
Anyway, listen, Sebastian, thanks again. Thanks ever so much.
Thanks very much. It's great talking with you.
Keep communicating, and Gary, all the best till we meet again. And
we've got a very exciting guest next month.
We have indeed, yes. Yes, we've got Marjorie McLaughlin. So we are going international, because don't worry, everybody, this is not all about Scotland. It's not all about just what's happening here. It will be about the whole of the society. And I've been meeting some folk in New Zealand and Australia that I've got my eye on for the Blether. So, and I have to say, great reception for the Blether down in Australia and New Zealand, because again, it makes them all feel part of the family, part of the organisation, which is great. So yeah, Marjorie McLaughlin, who's in San Diego, California, but is in fact, Gary,
She's the editor of the Scottish Country Dancer magazine.
That was just a wee for the chair-elect, just to see that he's
I got it right.
To speed with stuff. That's great. Marjorie's our editor, new editor of the Scottish Country Dancer magazine, doing a great job. So, but lives in San Diego. So there you are, everybody. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. With Zoom and everything else now, you can play your part in the society from the board. So we're looking for people for the board, for the committees. And so wherever you are in the world, think about it, please. Yeah, that's us for another month. We'll catch up soon. Thanks again to Sebastian for everything you're doing and for joining us in the Blether. So from me, William, until we meet again, it's cheerio from me and him.
And it's cheerio from him and me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.